Hey there! Welcome back to Reddit Dating, best channel for cheating stories. Make sure to like and subscribe the channel for more spicy stories. Caught my wife red-handed planning to escape with a much older married man. My wife recently started a new job that involves her traveling for work on a pretty frequent basis. Things were going well with her. She was calling me from the road and talking about how much she missed me and reaching out to me at almost every chance she had. Suddenly, after a week-long retreat in Vegas, the contact dried up. I didn't hear from her for the entire time she was in Vegas, blamed it on the time difference in her schedule, and when she got home, I noticed that she wasn't wearing her wedding band. When I pressed her about the band, she said that since she does a lot of work with her hands, she took them off to prevent them from falling into a sink. She does stage shows as a hairdresser and has to wear latex gloves when working with cams, and forgot to put them on. Something didn't feel right. So after she went to bed, I looked through her phone. I didn't see anything odd until I went to delete it. Voicemails and found a handful of messages from different times during the day from an older guy that she works with. I could still listen to them, and each one started with "Hey, sweetie" or "Hey, beautiful," and seemed to happen only during working hours or times when he was in the car on the way to his house. Nothing work-related, just calling to see how her day is going and things like that. I then checked her phone bill and found a huge charge for calls to Canada where this other man lives, and noticed that they talked for at least an hour a day during work hours. I confronted her about it. She told me it was over and we blocked the number from the cell phone account laneway to find a little peace of mind. I know. A couple of weeks later, she returned from another business trip and I found Viber on her phone. I confronted her again, and after a brief denial, she admitted that he encouraged her to download the app so they could stay in contact. I lost it, told her that I wouldn't stand for being lied to and that we needed some serious help in our relationship if she wanted to save this marriage. She admitted that she originally started talking to him about work, but that these conversations slowly evolved into personal conversations and that she liked the attention, etc. We booked a small vacation and had a great time. It felt like things were going to be okay. We turned our cell phones off, hung out on the beach for a while, and just spent time together. She assured me that it was over and that we were going to work through this emotional affair. Last night, after getting a FaceTime request for her, I had a weird feeling, so I checked her iCloud account. I found emails in her iCloud from this guy. This is 2 weeks after our trip to Florida, somewhere from his actual account photos of his city, other random pictures, and some are from an obviously secret account that he uses to carry on his affairs. The ones that were from his secret account were links to different places. In NYC on Erin, my heart sank. I called my wife, told her what I found, and said that now was the time to be completely honest with me. Even if I'm hurt by what I find out, if she's honest, I'll try. However, if I found out in the future that any part of her answers were a lie, there would be no chance at reconciliation, albeit there's a small chance at this point. Regardless, she admits that even after blocking the number, she's been talking to him on a daily basis through Skype. They were planning this trip to NYC together. She mentioned that she was wanting to go to NYC to visit a friend that lives there a couple of weeks ago. I feel like a sucker, though she hadn't done more than just talk. She then tells me that he's told her he loves her claim. She hasn't said the same thing, said that he has offered to leave his wife, and a few other details about the relationship. While nothing physical happened, I tend to believe her since there's a big geography gap involved. All of the details that came out really hurt me. I ended up at the doctor's office today and now have a prescription for some nerve medication and a referral to a therapist. She gets home tomorrow. We have to have a long talk. I want to save our marriage, but at the same time I don't. I don't want to be some sort of overseer to her daily life. But I need to find a way to have transparency with my wife and no more secrets. On the flip side, this other man is married with children, and after searching for his affair account, I found an X2 channel with no videos and an online dating profile in his hometown in Canada. I replied to one of his emails to her account with "This is Jenny's husband. I know everything," and left it at that, but I want to let this guy's wife know. My conundrum at this point is this the right thing to do? Because it's the right thing to do, and this other victim needs to know, where am I acting out of spite and trying to make my pain ripple through other lives? Anyone out there been in a similar spot? What did you do? Did it help? Update: I went to the doctor the morning after I found out. I'm on a script for Klonopin right now, which keeps me from losing my crap, but it wears off and I start to spiral. I shaved my beard off at 4 this morning, after a dinner with my wife at a nice Italian place. We ate pasta, drank 2 pitchers of sangria, and when we got home, we had closeness. She told me everything at the restaurant. She didn't want to, but I told her if we were going to even consider healing, I needed to know that there are no more lies. She loves this man. She was making plans to leave and be with him. They were going to start a new life together. He's taller than me. I'm 5 feet 4 inches, maybe 5 feet, 5 inches in good shoes. She's 5 feet 10 inches. He's 42. He makes twice what I make and he seems happy. He's super corporate, loves Tony Robbins kind of crap. Everything my wife despises or so she says nothing physical happened. She would have told me after laying all of this on me. She knows that I wouldn't have cared about that as much as I care about this. She looked up from her pasta, said, "Do you really want me to tell you everything? You're just going to leave me." I told her that I would promise anything. But this is what has to happen if any progress can even begin. We finished our drinks, walked home, and talked the whole way. Part of me felt relieved that the truth is finally out there. But part of me is dying inside. We got in bed. We have love. I don't know why I did it other than I wanted to feel something. I wanted to see if she was still there. I woke up at 4:30 this morning, and I can't get it out of my head. Not the details, just where my life is at this point. I'm trying to set up a first-time eval with a therapist on Monday. But I don't know how to keep going at this point. I feel crazy. She goes to Laos on Monday for a business trip that will take her through Friday. I think I'm going to ask her not to contact me while she's gone so I can process everything. I'm going to focus on my training. I'm a martial arts competitor and my work as much as I can. That still leaves me with the rest of the weekend. What do I do now? I don't really have any friends. Being a married couple for 10 years has brought our social circle down to just a few other married couples who all have their own crap to deal with. And there's no one out there that I can be completely candid with. Aside from one friend of mine who is a psychiatrist. I'm not as patient. We're drinking buddies and foodies, but he's in another city. And I feel like I'm kind of using him like a person that has all the answers when there's no Infidelity for Dummies book out there for this kind of stuff. Sometimes it's just good to talk about it, I guess probably why I post here. I feel so rejected and used. I take care of the household and work full-time while she's out on the road. And she has no responsibilities when it comes to this life we have together. I wish I could tell her to leave her job, but she wants to save this. But that's selfish on my part and would be just as destructive as having an affair and coming home. As I'm typing this, I realize it's a crazy stream of consciousness. So maybe I'll add something a little more sane in the comments after I calm down a little bit. The only good thing that's come from this so far is that I'm writing again. I used to be in a band with my wife. We toured around a little bit, but we weren't anything big. What would any sane person do at this point? What would any sane and love person do at this point? She wanted us to get a tattoo together a couple of weeks back, apparently during all of this, of 2 Indians in a canoe based on the song Strange Bind by Delta Spirit. All I can think of is getting a tattoo of an overturned canoe. Update. I've never felt so alone in all of my life. I talked to a few friends about it. I even called my wife's sister after she sent me a text saying, "Saw your Facebook post, hope everything's okay. I love you, brother," after I posted something vague about needing some cheering up and asking for jokes. I told her what was happening. I told her about the affair. I told her I was sorry and that I didn't have anyone else to talk to. She said that she didn't know what to say other than she's a liar and she has a problem with it. She told me that it's crazy that she was so outspoken about her father only to do this and that she didn't know what to say. I apologized for even calling her, as I wanted to talk to someone that knew us both and would be an advocate for our marriage, but I probably made her feel so awkward. Their father abandoned their mother a few years back for his lover. My wife hasn't spoken to him in years and is full of venom whenever her father or the name of his lover is brought up. We've watched as a family as her mother slowly lost everything and eventually had to move back home with her sister in Texas, bankrupt and alone. I listened in horror as I heard that her father hasn't been heard from in a while and is thought to be mentally ill and potentially homeless. Before my wife left for LA, I called her by her father's Mr. Says name. I wanted to hurt her as much as she hurt me. I wanted to let her know that as long as the truth is out there, that the pain is growing like a fire. I still don't think I have the truth, and I don't think she's ever going to give it to me. Today, I got a text from my mother-in-law. She's such a wonderful woman who has had so much bad happen to her in her life. She was asking about my wife. Apparently, She hasn't heard from her in over a month and was worried about her. This broke my heart worse than anything that's happened to me. First, her husband, now her own struggling mother. She can talk to Craphead on a daily basis, but can't take out 5 minutes to call her own mother. I sent her a text and told her to call her mother and let her know she's okay. And that it's crappy that she can spend so much time talking to this guy, but not even call or text her mother to check in. I went to my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class last night, and I got some relief. I took one of my Klonopin before class, and I felt great after I left. I'm getting better. I'm doing well against people who are much larger than me. I think that's kind of my attraction to the sport. I always want to fight things that are much bigger than myself. My wife told me to call her when I got out of jiu-jitsu. Due to the time difference I called, she didn't answer. About 10 minutes later, I got a text from her saying that she's at a team dinner. I decided to drink a beer, then another one. I texted her back and told her how pathetic I feel. I lashed out a bit, then asked her if she had talked to him today. She denied it, but I don't believe her. I can't believe her. I went to bed. I had nightmares about her all night. I don't know if I even want to read this psychological book about affairs and try to have that talk with my wife when she gets back. I don't know if I can bear hearing anymore, but not knowing is torturing me. Should I just not talk to her for the rest of the time she's gone? She comes back on Thursday. Maybe I should just disappear until then. I know nothing's going to make her care. But I think my wife might have some issues and might not be in touch with reality. And I'm starting to feel the same way.